Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 220 of the High Sensitivity Podcast, and thank you for listening. If it's your first time here, we talk about video game and movie news as those we watched or played over the week. My name is Barry, along with one less co-host, but he's my co-host.
My name is Craig, coming straight from Barry's Alan Wake Nightmares. Yeah, we're down one, but he will be missed, but we will do our best.
But could he be the man behind you?
It could be. He could be
That could
in
be
this
Craig right
outfit.
there.
It's true.
We'll see if
You'll
he
never
plays
know.
the part. Yeah, we'll see if he plays the part. You know, we told him he has to stay there the entire podcast,
Yep,
not move, not say anything. We'll see whether or not Craig is willing to do it.
that's fair.
But what we were always willing to fulfill and do is the news this week, and there's a more than I actually thought. I'll be fair with you. Pokemon invades airport videos in Japan. If you don't know, Pokemon World is going on right now in Honolulu, Hawaii, and there are a ton of different world championships that they're doing at the moment. And in the air for Japan Air videos, they like had those videos that tutorialize the airplane, like, okay, this is how you leave, this is how you
Yeah.
exit. They did it with Pokemon as well.
Oh,
So like they have Pokemon in the video. They're like no smoking, and Jigglypuff gets angry with it. So it's a couple of little things, but it's just a constant reminder that Pokemon is gonna take over all of our lives.
I mean, it has already, right?
Yeah, it has. Really, it
Especially
has.
over there. Is
Yeah.
there a reason there? Is this like a temporary thing, or is
I
it
guess
permanent?
it's probably a temporary thing just to celebrate that Pokemon comes from Japan,
Right.
and I imagine it's. I wonder what's a shorter flight. Like it's got to be from Japan to Honolulu, Hawaii. Like that has to be
Probably.
a pretty short flight, all things said and done.
Yeah.
And speaking of Pokemon, I go right from celebratory to sad. The
Yeah.
voice of Misty and Jessie, her name was Rachel Lillis, died at age 55 from cancer.
Yeah.
Uh, Cancer sucks, as we all know. That's never not going to suck, but it is pretty. It just is a good reminder of like the people that you can't take for granted. You know, I grew up with Misty and Jesse from Pokemon for the most part.
Yep.
So it's sad to see, and I hate it because I'd like to meet some of the voice actors for Pokemon one day if they ever go to the conventions near us.
Yep.
But now I will get to meet the voice of Misty and Jesse.
I don't know why I never knew that she was both. I always knew she was Misty. I had no idea she was Jessie.
I didn't even know that she was either, and
Okay.
I didn't know she did too.
Yeah, because they're completely different.
They
I
feel
think.
like it, yeah. Like
Yeah.
Jesse always had like that high, like higher than thou type voice going for her, and
Yep.
but yeah, Pokemon celebratory, Pokemon sad. Speaking of though, Nintendo, man, everything seems to fall right in the way this year. Game Boy colored sneaker from Shoe Boys. I'm not sure
Ooh.
if you saw this, but Shoe Boys did a kind of a theme with Nike Jordan shoes
Okay.
that are one's like the color purple, like the Game Boy Color, the original like purple and black. The other one is more the retro, like gray and green. I believe that it was like it was like a $600, and you could get like a pair, like one of each shoe.
Okay.
It's not something that's like was sponsored by Nike or anything like that, but I saw the shoes, and you're the shoe guy as far as I know. I didn't
Yeah.
know if you heard about this or not, or was interested in it at all, but
I
those
saw the
shoes are
purple
expensive.
one. Yeah. The thing is like the Bull Airs, the people who do these like custom shoes, they always make really cool ones, but they're always way more than I
Yeah,
want
they're
to
always super
spend.
expensive.
Yeah. And they're not bootleg, but they're like unofficial, right? They're not backed by Nike, but those look really cool actually.
And then we have some release dates with Dragon Age Veilguard is coming out October 31st, release date. Until Dawn remake, October 4th. Are you excited over one or the other for it? Or I know you liked Until Dawn. I'm not sure how
Yeah.
much of a Dragon Age guy you are, but
I'm curious to see if it pops up on Game Pass.
okay, yeah.
Like or at least like the EA Play like 10-hour early look maybe. I'm interested. I enjoy Dragon Age. I've played I think I've played all of them. I think the only one I beat was the last one they did.
Okay, Inquisition, I
Yeah,
believe.
Inquisition. I'm definitely down to try it. Until Dawn, I saw the comparison trailer of like how the old one looks and the new one looks, and it looks a lot better. I just don't know if I care enough to play it again.
Yeah, like, is it
Yeah,
enough? It doesn't.
yeah,
Yeah, I get the whole point of trying to do like the upgraded graphics and everything like that for it, but I feel like this is one of those things where Sony was just like, we need a game to come out. Let's really, re-release it Until Dawn, which
yeah,
it's a very popular game. It's very popular in the horror sphere.
yeah.
But
But you don't have like the pull of when you did Last of Us
yeah,
remastered. It's not
yeah,
the same.
absolutely.
I don't know. I know Craig is excited about it. I just don't think. I think they said it's $59.99.
Yes.
I'm not paying that. Feels like 30 maybe.
Yeah, if it was a little bit cheaper.
Yep.
And then the last two I have here, I'll just go over them both. Trombone Champ Unflattened in
Oh,
VR. So they're doing Trombone Champ is doing a VR game. It's got a little short trailer. It's got kind of all the weird gimmicks that the game is known for on Steam. I just thought it was cool that it's big enough to get like its own VR adaptation, and they kind of do it in a cool way where like the one side is where the notes are, and the other side is the pitch where you can see how high or low you
okay.
have to go.
Interesting.
But
I might have to check that out. I love Trombone Champ.
yeah, Trombone Champ is fun, and with custom songs, it's a lot more fun. I will
Mm-hmm.
admit that. And lastly, shout out to my fellow Spanish people. Carol G is going to be the next featured artist in Fortnite artists, like that series. So they're going to do a whole concert thing with her, like they did with Metallica, Ariana Grande.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I know I said I was interested in the Metallica, but then I never did the Metallica one.
I totally
Um,
forgot about it.
yeah, so I don't know. Do I find time for Carol G?
Did I? Did we miss the Metallica when it happened
Oh,
already?
absolutely. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. It already
Dang.
happened.
I was actually going to check it out. Oh well. I don't know who the other person is, so I don't think I'll tune in for that one. Sorry.
That's
Um,
okay.
Okay, so a couple that I have here. There was the H2M mod for Call of Duty that was set to come out this week. Just got shut down by Activision. It was a kind of a remake of Modern Warfare 2 and the servers, so you could
Hmm.
play it online.
Yeah,
Activision came swooping on in and was like, no, no, no. I've heard conflicting reports. One being that, like, hey, they're basically giving the game away for free, so of course they shut it down. The other being that they were a little concerned that people would play this more than the new Call of Duty coming out
yeah,
soon. It's probably a bit of both, but I know it was like everybody was super excited for it, and to be like days away from being released, and they came out and were like, hey, we got to shut it down. It's kind of a bummer for sure. But I guess that's how it works when you're playing with other people's properties
yeah,
that aren't yours. You kind of go with it. It's kind of like playing with Nintendo, making anything Nintendo related. You're going to get shut down.
yeah. It is kind of hard to say though that like people would play that game more than the new Black
Yeah.
Ops. Like I do like COD. Always, everybody's playing all different types of CODs. It really doesn't matter what it is.
Yep.
COD will always be.
COD will reign supreme.
Yeah, COD will always. Yeah, that's literally the phrase.
Some more Switch 2 news. There's it's been going back and forth all week, but the latest that I've seen is not in this fiscal year, which would rule it out of January and February, I think, of next year. And then 100% everybody's saying under 499.
Cool.
I'm
I'd be,
yeah, 399. What do you think?
I'm cool with whatever. Like I'll
449?
I'm okay with that. Like the Nintendo hasn't really charged us at like I don't think they ever overcharged for a console. Like it's
No.
not like the big, huge fiasco with the PlayStation 3, for example, at $600
Yep.
kind of deal there. Um, I'm I've unfortunately, like, as someone who loves Nintendo as much as I do, and Pokemon and all the other things that they do, to be honest, I'd probably pay $600 for a new Switch at this point. I hate to admit it, but the Switch is that old, and I do
Yeah.
wish the Switch had a lot of the things that modern consoles have.
Do you think it will though?
I can only hope. My main thing is that they really got to do like a party chat thing.
Yeah.
Like that has to be something in their new one. Like everybody wants to play games with their friends, and it's always benign to me that in order to play Splatoon, you need to have a phone app, and then you connect
Yep.
your phone with the app, and then you can connect with your friends and talk over the phone. Like you just can't be doing that anymore. You really
No.
gotta like there has to be a party system in it. Like everybody plays online games now.
Yeah. Or you go through like Discord or something.
Or yeah, or just a better Discord integration as well.
Yeah. You think? I know it's been kind of back and forth, but 4K.
I'd have to imagine docked if they're
Yeah.
doing the whole docked versus undocked thing.
1080p handheld.
I'd hope so.
Is the
Um,
Steam Deck 4K?
no,
It's
I
1080.
I believe it's 1080 or 1440p.
Okay. And then the PlayStation Portal is 1080.
Yeah, it's 1080 screen. Yep.
Okay. All right. So they could be on par with everything else if it's 1080 handheld.
Yeah,
Uh,
and I didn't mention this, but like I'd also be okay with it like docked 1440p. You know,
yeah.
it doesn't need to be 4K, but it needs to be a more powerful system.
Agreed. But we still want it handheld, right? Like it has to be handheld still.
Like if they decided to go with a home console, I'd be very surprised.
Yeah.
Uh, I feel like with the success of the Portal, they like Nintendo has to keep it as something that you can connect to a TV or take with you. I feel like
Right.
they have to keep that functionality.
Yeah. I don't see them going away from it. I think that would just like blow everybody's mind.
Yeah,
They'd be like, no way. I don't know if you saw the trailer, but I had to bring it up for Barcore.
I have not. No.
I just had to bring it up because it's so wild. You literally play as a dog, uh, performing parkour moves and taking out people. He has like I want to say it's like a either a gun or a melee weapon on his back. I'm double checking, but it just looks insane. And it just kind of dropped this week. I think it looks like a gun. Um, it's supposed to be coming out next year. I think early next year. He has a grappling hook that shoots out of on what's on his back as well.
Okay.
It looks interesting, like a platformer, kind of like a Ghost Runner almost.
Gotcha. Okay. Interesting.
But it came out of nowhere, and I was like, new games are always nice to see
Yeah.
instead of the same like repeated over and over. So yeah, I mean, keep an eye out on that whenever that drops. I think it's on everything, not just Steam.
Mm-hmm.
Last thing I have, Pokemon related again, since we have so much Pokemon. Uh,
Dominate.
po- Pokemon live series is in development at Netflix with Red as the main character. Who do you want to play Red?
I don't know. Like I guess my main thing is it like these are always kids
Right?
like that are in these games and in real life no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
So are they going for like are we going to be like reaching out to kids with like a more kid friendly type of thing where Red is a kid,
Right.
or are we looking more toward like a young adult sort of thing? It's kind of hard to tell. Netflix has so much to do with Pokemon right now because they have Pokemon Horizons, the
Yep.
flagship series, and now they're doing this. So, what kind of series are we getting? Is going to be my main like
Do you think
question.
that we see Pokemon on the level of like Detective Pikachu style, like the movie?
I'd say so. Yeah,
I think they have to, right?
yeah. I think enough of like Detective Pikachu looked good enough
Mm-hmm.
that that it can continue to do that type of thing. And Netflix has more money than any of us know what to do with. So if anybody's got the budget to support the CGI, it's them.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm curious to see where they market it. If it's just strictly marketed at kids or if they're trying to hit like our demographic
Yeah,
as
that's
like, oh
yeah,
yeah, it's red. You know what I mean? Because we're all going to be like, oh my God, red. Of
yeah.
course. Or do they, because like younger kids probably don't know who red is, right?
They
I mean,
definitely don't. They
when's the
definitely
last
don't.
time red was the main character? Just
Uh,
red and blue and yellow?
yeah, and he makes a brief appearance in the silver gold and heart gold
Yep.
soul silver series, but he was never the main thing in that one. But
Okay.
people do know Red as he was like the biggest challenge for us when we were kids.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, that was the last thing I had.
Okay,
Speeding on through.
speed on through. Craig, do you have any news back there, Craig? He's sticking to his role,
I
man.
don't think so.
He's,
Yeah.
he's, he's sticking to his role. I got to give it to him.
Well done.
Games this week. For
Hmm.
me, it is just Madden 25.
Okay. I'm still trying to beat Neo. I'm getting real close. I did play Madden 25 and I did play the Visions of Mana demo.
Okay.
Got that in there.
You go ahead and go into your stuff.
Okay. Visions of Mana. So my rule with demos, I feel like I've said this before. I try not to play too much of them because I want to keep like the main experience intact. What I've seen so far, you are correct about the one voice actor.
Yeah.
Wild. I think it looks nice. It ran nice for me. I had no issues.
Okay.
Um it felt good. A
Yeah.
little complicated.
Yeah. That's
It's a
where I was
lot.
at. It's
Yeah.
complicated.
And I'm hoping that like okay, if the game comes out and then we get to start from the beginning, maybe it feels better because it just felt like it was like screen after screen after
Yeah.
screen of like you can do
Absolutely.
this and this and I was like, "Oh my god, relax." Um but I think it's in a good place. I think it's going to be a good game. Um I'm still surprised I like these games because they're so anime.
Yeah, and you are a man that's not one into
No.
anime as much, or
No.
two into talkie,
No,
and these games love to talk.
they do. So I'm excited to give it a shot. I am hopeful that I like it enough to stick with it.
I hope so too.
We'll see.
I didn't play any of the other mana games, but I am enjoying this. This may be a good opportunity for me to jump in
Yeah.
to a mana game as well, especially considering it's been so long since the last one.
It's been a minute. And then yeah, we can talk about Madden.
Okay, yeah. So Madden, this is of course what everybody's willing to hear.
Yep.
It's funny if you look back at our podcasts, like the first Madden one we did is still the most listened to by far.
Really.
Yeah, it is. So, like, I'm just trying to give it. Madden's gonna be in the title here. People got to know what's going on with
People
Madden.
care about our Madden opinions.
Yes. But I guess it's because like people don't really bother to review this really game
True.
anymore. It tends to be the same thing. And to do you want to go
Just
first
say
and
it.
maybe okay, so this game does feel weird. Like I'm
It
gonna
does.
give it I'll give it that. It feels weird. I had to change the passing. Now that the chip passing's back, I now get it. I'm feeling a lot better with it.
Mm-hmm.
It is definitely not as arcadey as NCAA.
Yep.
Or I gotta keep calling it that. It's just called College Football 25. But
It's slower.
yeah, it's a slower game. I don't know if Tyreek Hill is broken or not. I played one game in franchise, and I play on All Pro,
Mm-hmm.
and I threw to him for like 500 yards and 6 touchdowns. He
Okay.
seems to be like a broken character. Regardless, the menus are snappier. That's a benefit.
Yeah.
If I was a menu merchant, I'd say like this is the game like for me for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But there are these tiny upgrades in graphics, tiny upgrades in on-field presentation, but there's still a lot of weird stuff
Yeah.
going on. The commentators never seem to be able to keep up with what
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing. I like my first game I played, I intercepted a ball with one of the players, and then at the end of the game when I picked off the ball to end it, the announcer goes, and that's the first interception of the game. And I'm like, well, no, that's the second one. I intercepted another one, took that back for a touchdown. And there's some weird, like, graphical things I'd like to say. Like, Doug Peterson's hair was gray when it
Mm-hmm.
started. And then as he started to walk, it turned like more brown. I don't know if that was like the stadium lighting that got in the way, but
Okay.
there's a couple weird things. Madden's Madden, like it's kind of really hard to make the game any different than it already is. Like we've already hit these like next parts of realism. They did kind of answer the whole like everyone looks the same in their helmet. Like we get close up shots of Tua and Tyreek Hill like with their helmets on, and you can see their faces. I could see Aaron Rodgers' face
Hmm.
like in the helmet. Like it definitely seems like there is a like they answered that and some presentation stuff, but it's not like college football. The Miami Dolphins don't have a whole marching band going out doing a flip in the center of the field and
Yep.
then doing a whole fight song. They just walk out to a tunnel with some fireworks and then continue on with the game and everything that they're doing.
Yeah.
How do you feel?
So first thing I wanted to ask you, um, because I feel like I'm biased on this, and I know I've seen a lot of hate online. Kate Scott, uh, Sixers announcer, is
Yes.
one of the announcers in Madden
Yes.
now.
Yes.
I enjoy her a lot, so I was excited to hear her. But
I
I know
am
a lot.
also.
Okay, perfect.
I'm a big Kate Scott fan. She
Yeah.
is awesome on the Sixers broadcast. I'll
Hmm.
be honest, I was surprised that they like picked her for Madden, but
Yeah.
I think a lot of what it has to do with is like she is such a boundary breaking person in the
Hmm.
broadcast journalism field, and and it's because she's a female. Like
Hmm.
that's a lot of it. And I was listening to a uh, kind of an interview that Kate Scott did with one of the 76ers reporters. But I think it's awesome she's in there. I think she does a great job. I She was the one that announced the whole interception thing, and that's the game's fault, not hers.
Right.
I know it's not her fault
Right.
that it's doing that. But she is an incredible play-by-play person. Like
Yeah.
there is no doubting that. And I know people will be mad because she's a woman,
Yep.
but
I've seen a
uh
lot of hate already,
but
but I just
she
think she's like it. She puts more excitement into the announcing than I've seen in a Madden game, and even the college football game.
yeah.
Honestly,
Yeah, like she puts a different tone to everything
right?
that like makes it feel like greater. I will admit it is a little weird to hear her like celebrating like touchdown when I'm used to hearing her say Maxi
Yeah,
from 3 point.
yep,
It is a
yep,
little strange for me, but I'm happy she's included into the game. I'm glad they brought in new announcers
yeah.
into the game because like even for college football 25, like Herb Street and the other I'm trying to
Leak.
remember
Oh
his
my
name.
god, yeah,
I'm gonna hate that I can't remember. I think it's Reese
yeah,
something.
yeah. Reese Davis, is that what
Yeah,
it is?
I think so. And even
Yeah,
even their broadcasting is a little like bland in
it's
the game.
boring. Yeah,
Like there's no excitement. So they're maybe I need to plays the Eagles to see if she does anything fun for the Eagles considering
she
she's a
says
70.
Philadelphia with extra emphasis.
Okay, good.
It's
All
pretty
right.
cool.
So
It's pretty cool.
we have to see
Yeah.
there, but I have no problem with her in the game. I am
Okay.
a big Kate Scott fan, and anybody that's hating on her can
Yeah.
can, can go eat rocks.
Yeah. Yeah, the first thing, because like obviously I started a franchise with the Eagles, and I was like,
Yeah,
oh, this is kind of cool. The first game I got, she was one of the announcers, and I was like, yeah, the same way she says Philadelphia translates over to the Eagles. Um, I think you have to readjust the way you play coming from college football because it
yeah,
is slower.
absolutely.
Saquon is broken.
Okay, so I
Uh,
have Tyreek Hill and you cite
yep,
Saquon. Both are
Saquon is
broken. Yeah,
broken. One thing that kind of bothered me, and I guess it's very minor, is the Eagles' first game this year is in Mexico.
yeah,
They didn't
yeah. They
nothing,
didn't bother.
nothing,
Yeah,
nothing. And I'm like, how they just made it at home for the Eagles. And I'm just like, I know that's very minor to hold against them, but like the NFL is putting such a big emphasis on playing games outside of the US. Why would you not go and get the license for that stadium? It's one stadium.
I wonder if it was too late to do that. I guess that
Maybe.
would be my only thing. Is they did have to wait for the schedule to come out, and
Right.
you feel like if anybody knows the schedule before other people do, it's probably Madden and
Yeah.
EA Sports that
And they've
know it.
never, as far as I know, they've never done like the stadiums in England either, right? In Madden,
No, no, they
they
haven't.
just skip over it and pretend like it doesn't exist.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that because like there is an avenue like
Hmm.
There's EA Sports FC
Hmm.
25 and 24.
They
They have
already have that
Yeah,
stadium.
they have the
Yeah.
licenses for these
Yep.
stadiums. I don't know about the one in Brazil. I definitely know
Right.
about the one in England.
Right.
But that's actually a really interesting point. Like EA has these things.
Right.
About whether or not they can put it into another game is, I guess, a different story. And it's the same thing, and it was the same thing with like MLB. Like the Phillies did that series
Yeah.
in England, I believe, or France, I can't
I think
remember.
it was England. Yep.
But yeah, that stadium, like they don't get the licensing for that either. But
Yeah, I was just very confused. I was like, you would think because there's such a big emphasis on like outside of the US and expanding the NFL, like I don't know if the NFL does Madden sell outside of the US? Probably not well, so maybe they're just like, whatever, just make it a home game for one of the teams, who cares? But for somebody like me who like, yeah, I'm an Eagles fan, but I know that game is coming up, it would have been cool to see it. Um, but I don't know. I think that's maybe minor. Uh, it doesn't look as good as college football, for sure. It doesn't feel as good. Um, I think trying to go back and forth would be miserable.
yeah, yeah, for sure. Unless you're like a veteran and that's the only two things you play, you'd probably be okay with it.
Right.
But I'm with you. I want to be able to like be on one side or the other.
Yeah.
And like, but I'm numb to Madden at this point. Like, I
Me
guess
too.
that's the main thing that we need to think about. Is it's really hard to say something bad about Madden, considering and let me phrase this in a way. Considering Madden is trying to be a football game, it is a football game.
Yeah.
Like it does that. But I know what everybody wants is like this next level presentation stuff and all of these bonuses that seem to be in college football, but not in Madden.
Yeah.
So I don't know which way you go or which way you choose. I know people want the announcers stuff to be done to be better. I know people want the presentation stuff to be better.
Hmm.
The menus are a lot better, so I
Yeah.
have to say like they did a good job of that. But it, it's hard to judge. The game is going to be it's football. I guess is what I'm trying to say. And
Yeah.
with all of the bugs and everything that come with it, it's still football. You can be upset with the gameplay, and you can be upset with the graphics and how it all performs, but it's a football game.
Yeah, and I do appreciate with Madden that they do get the likenesses for the head coaches, because it bothers me in college football that they
That
don't.
is true. Yeah, they did. And now that Bill Belichick isn't in the NFL anymore, I think the I'd have to check that. I have to see if the Patriots head coach is actually uh,
Oh yeah.
Jared Mayo because he never gave his likeness out. Bill
Yeah.
Belichick. So that's
Yeah.
something I actually have to check. Do we actually have all teams with
Right.
coaches that are face scanned and all that fun
From
stuff?
what I've seen of what I've played, they've all been right. All the coaches.
Okay.
Um, and again, I know we say this a lot, but like EA Play, if you have Game Pass, is a thing. So being able to try this out for 10 hours is like a godsend. I'm not going to buy it. Did you buy it, or are you just doing the
No, I'm
trial?
doing the trial and I'm gonna
Okay.
keep playing it, but I do expect I will buy it, but not at the current price.
Okay. Like 30
I'll wait for
bucks.
Black Friday when it inevitably
Yep.
becomes $30.
Yep. 30, because all EA games are usually 29.99 on Black Friday.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, if you have Game Pass, try it out. I don't think anybody should be paying $70 for this anymore. I believe the same thing about NBA 2K. And no, NBA 2K will not reel me in. I know this is a sidetrack with the Olympic stuff that they just chucked in there recently. Absolutely not. You will not get me with that.
But yeah, so unless do you have anything to add about Neo at all?
No, I don't know. I feel like I'm close, but I don't know. Did you
Oh,
ever
okay.
beat the first Neo?
No, I've not.
Okay. I'm like level 106.
Oh, okay. So you
So
have to
I'm
be,
like,
yeah,
I have to be getting close, but I
yeah.
don't know and I don't want to check. But I'm still having a blast. Did you decide if you're gonna get Black Myth this week?
So I guess we probably should have talked about
Yeah.
this in the news a bit more. Black Myth is reviewing well. I'm
Hmm.
probably gonna get it. It is
Okay.
it is reviewing fairly well. They did mention about a lot of bugs. IGN got hammered
They did.
in their comment section for. I'm not. People take these reviews way too seriously. They get so mad about this stuff, and I find it hilarious.
Yep.
Uh, because the reviewer gave it an 8 out of 10, and I think a lot of the stuff that he was dealing with or had problems with were that the game was kind of really glitchy and broken at certain parts, but he couldn't show them because of embargo.
Hmm.
So he reviewed it as a whole, but then didn't show what the issues were, and apparently they kind of all happened after chapter 2.
Okay.
I I will probably play it. PS5 consoles are probably not going to have that issue. Uh, Console games tend to be a lot better when it
Yeah.
comes to the state that they are released in over computer, because computers you have to jumble everyone's different setups and how the game handles that. So
Right.
we have to see what ends up happening, whether or not they could patch all these things and maybe the game's good to go
Yeah.
by then. But we don't know if it's going to be like that or not. So
I will say that I have watched so many reviews this week, and every review I watch makes me lean more towards getting it, which is a good thing. But
yeah,
it looks fun.
yeah, it looks fun. It looks cool. I guess the main thing is that review did say that people are going to be confused because it doesn't do a really good job. I guess it's a continuation of Odyssey to the West.
Okay.
Like they don't do a good job of explaining, like characters will talk to each other as if they've already known each other and you know who they are, but we're not
Okay.
going to know who they are. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, no, I'm definitely interested in Wukong, and that game will come out, and then the last week of August starts the triple header and all of the onslaught of games that come out afterward.
Yeah, like Game of the Year Astrobot.
Yeah, well, no, that's first week of September, but yes, we do have Astrobot. I am excited. I'm really excited to play that. The more we,
And Craig, are you still buying Black Myth? I'm gonna take that as a yes.
yeah, I think he is.
Okay.
He's always been a Black Myth guy,
Yeah.
so
He's not answering me, but that's fine.
that dare we sent him on. He is definitely
Hmm.
sticking to it. And then we have movies and TV shows.
Yeah.
I have started watching the Paramount Plus Tales of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle series.
Okay.
Uh, I liked the movie. They have some of the same voice actors that are in the movie, and I kind of like their whole dynamic. I'm liking the animated show, but I haven't
Okay.
finished it yet. What did you watch?
So I did finish Spirited Away.
Okay,
I'm still trying to decide which one I'm gonna watch next. I watched Land of Bad on Netflix. I just got back today from seeing Aliens Romulus, and if we step into Barry's corner here, and I hope I pronounce this correctly, I started watching on Netflix. I believe it's pronounced Konosuba.
Konosuba. You're watching
Yeah.
Konosuba. I did not expect that. That
Yeah,
is that is a show out of left field. I did not
it is.
expect you to
It's
talk
way
about.
out there. Yeah.
Yes, it is. It is definitely way out there. Um, I also have a small comment about Avatar 2 because I did recently rewatch Avatar
Okay.
2 as well. Um, you go into it.
Okay.
This is your stage.
So, all right, I'll start with Spirited Away. Let's do that. Finished it, really enjoyed it. I understand why people have a love for it. I don't know if I would like if I have like the same reverence yet as like everybody else. I watched it and I was like, that was a good movie. But I know some people are like, that's like pinnacle of animation or whatever. But it looked very nice. The story was very interesting, kept me entertained. Um, I think we need to decide like which one should I go to next? Like
Okay.
what's the next step, you know?
I guess the main thing is, what did you like the more actiony sequences? Like, are you like, we could take it kind of one at a time, where we go more action and then a
Mhm.
little less action and then more
I really
action.
don't care cuz like I
Okay.
look at all of them and obviously I look at like Howl's Moving Castle and Princess Mononoke. I'm like, "Oh, those look cool," but also like what Ponyo, right? I'm like, "That looks
I
cool."
want you to save those two. How's Moving Castle, and of course, and
Yeah.
Princess Mononoke.
Yeah.
So, uh, I would like to suggest, and I will
Okay.
watch these as well. I've been
Okay.
meaning to rewatch Kiki's Delivery Service
Mhm.
or My Neighbor Totoro.
Okay. I'm down for either one for sure.
Let's go My Neighbor Totoro.
Okay.
We will both watch that
Okay.
at some point this week.
Yeah, I mean, I would say though, like honestly, if I take a step back and look at it, I think you can put them on par with like a Disney animated movie.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
story, music, even though they're not singing, like the music is really good. It's like it's I don't know, it just fits
Yeah,
really well.
they're always top notch with
Yeah.
their stuff.
Um, let's see, Land of Bad on Netflix. Um, that is Liam Hemsworth. Yes, Liam Hemsworth, who is a drone op. He's not really a drone operator. I'm trying to think. All right, so if you remember his brother's Netflix movies, and I'm
Yeah.
blanking on what the names were.
Extraction?
Yes. Think of those type of movies, but swap out Chris for Liam. So Liam is somebody who is like the tech guy who is being put in the field with three other. I don't know if they're Marines. They're more like special forces
Yeah.
to rescue somebody, and he has like control, or he communicates with the base where Russell Crowe is the drone operator. So he's sitting in a room with like his, like his remote and his sticks and like dropping bombs and stuff. And there's a lot of stuff that happens there, but it is such a good, just like straight action movie. It definitely reminds me of like Liam being like, I can do what my brother does, but in a
Yeah, it
good
feels
way.
like
You know
that.
what I
Yeah.
mean? I just happened to see it. It came out this year, and I was like, oh, I never watched that, and I was surprised with how much I liked that movie. So. If you're looking for like a good action, like military action movie, you really can't go wrong with Land of Bad. Such a bad title.
I've been ignoring Netflix, to be honest.
Okay, me too.
I haven't watched a lot of what they have on there. I've been
I
trying to
was scouring it this week.
yeah.
That's why.
Yeah. I need to start scouring more.
Speaking of scouring, that brought me on to the anime. We can talk about that now.
All
I
right, here
just
we
watched.
go.
I just watched the first episode so far.
Okay.
Um, if I'm following correctly, main character plays a lot of video games. Goes to the store to get the new collector's edition of a video game. On the way home, thinks he saves a girl from getting hit by a car. He did not, but he ended up dying because he had a heart attack because he was so scared. Wakes up in the afterlife, is given the option to either go to, I don't think they call it heaven. I think they just call it paradise or something,
Yeah.
or go into do they call it an MMO, or do they just call it like an RPG?
It's another world. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like an RPG element.
Mhm.
He chooses that, and also tricks. Oh my God, what is her name?
Aqua.
Aqua into having to go with him. Definitely like a comedy, I would say.
Yeah, the main reason I find it like out of left field for a
Sure.
show that you are watching is I do love Konosuba. It's one of
Okay.
like the few anime where I laugh out loud
Mm-hmm.
to some of the hijinks that are going on there. Uh
Yeah.
but continue.
I don't know. It just caught my attention because I was like, oh yeah, he's kind of like in a game, right?
Yeah.
And like the tropes that are there, like they get dropped in and they don't have money, and he's freaking out. He's like, how can they drop me in here with no starting money or starting gear? And they have like that whole montage where they're like, I would call it leveling up, but they're just
Yeah.
like trying to get better at things. I don't know. I'm liking it so far. It's like a good mindless comedy, right? Only one season.
No, so there is like one season and then kind of a couple offshoots and then there is another season.
Okay.
Uh that other season I know is on Crunchyroll. I don't know if it's on Netflix or not.
Okay. I'll have to take a look, but I think I'll stick with it. You feel like I should?
So it sometimes reaches the Food Wars territory if
Okay, fair.
and you know what I mean by that.
Yep, I do.
So if you're willing to get through that, like there are genuinely funny moments
Mhm.
between what will be the quad group
Okay.
of people that you will meet throughout there. Um and
So you
they're
would
just
say it's worth my time.
I would say yeah, no. Many people refer to as Konosuba as one of the funniest anime.
Okay.
If you're looking for like good animation as well, like comedy and good animation, like it has both of them.
Yeah, I was kind of like I was going through the anime section in Netflix, and I was just like looking for animation that caught my eye, and that's what caught my eye. I was like, "Oh, I like that art style,"
Yeah.
and I was like, "Yeah, let's give it a shot." But yeah, so far I like it. I think I'll stick with it, unless something like out of left field. I'm just like, I don't care anymore. But I don't. think that's gonna happen. I think
Yeah.
there's only like 10 episodes.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
It's pretty short. So yeah, I'll keep watching that one, and I'll add on what Kiki's Delivery Service as well. Um Aliens Romulus.
We were gonna watch My Neighbor Totoro.
Oh, that's right. Sorry. My Neighbor Totoro. Okay. Aliens. Barry, have you
Aliens,
ever
yeah.
watched an Aliens movie?
I have not. They much like their trailers, they've always went, oh, okay, this looks like a scary movie, not a Barry movie.
That's fair. Um, there's something about the Aliens movie that gets like sci-fi so right for me. It
Yeah,
just like it's future, but it's like grounded future. All the all the computers. I mean, the original Alien was in like the 70s. So like even
yeah,
though it's
yeah,
futuristic, like it looks like grungy and dirty. I love Alien. I would classify as a sci-fi.
yeah. And I guess a quick question for you
Yep,
about this. When I was growing up, it was more like Alien versus Predator type,
sure.
like going on. Did Alien start as its own separate thing, and then eventually did these crossovers into other
Yeah,
franchises?
you
Okay.
had like Alien 1 through 3. And then you had I think Alien Resurrection. Predator came out after Alien. They tied in because Predator 2, Predator is not a horror movie at all. That's straight
Yeah, yeah,
action movies. Predator 2 is where like or maybe even the first one where you see like an alien skeleton, and that's when everybody at that time lost their mind in like the 80s because they're like, "Oh my god, that's an alien skeleton. It's the same world." And they're
yeah,
like, "Oh, let's just combine them." Alien at its core is just like aliens. That's it. Like
yeah.
aliens are the perfect uh evolution of a species. Like that's the whole point. Like they're the perfect
Gotcha. Okay.
hunter. They like everything about them. They're fast, they're smart. If you hurt them, their blood is acid. So like you
Yeah,
can't really hurt them. It's all that kind of stuff. So I would say like the very first Alien leaned a little bit into horror. I still wouldn't consider it horror. It was just like there's an alien on the ship, we have to get out of here type deal. Now, this newer one definitely leans more into the horror
yeah,
than the other ones do, but it's done so well. And like Alien has always been for me, not to sound like I don't even know, like somebody who's like, I watch cinema, right?
you
But like,
pretentious.
yeah, Alien movies, the lighting and the sound is so cool, and like the new one does more of the same. Now, the director did talk about he loves Alien Isolation, the
Yeah,
game, so there's nods in there about the game, which is cool. But man, is it a good movie.
good.
It's incredibly well done. It keeps you on edge, and like the sci-fi part of it is incredible. I would say I think you would enjoy them if you can make yourself watch them, if
Yeah,
that makes sense.
yeah,
I really don't. This was the first one that I was like, oh yeah, this is definitely scary-ish.
yeah.
The other ones I never thought were scary. They were
Well,
just kind
yeah,
of like,
and you had mentioned Predator too. Like
yeah,
for me, I always thought Predator was like more horror based because when like they take off that mask, and I'm like, oh
yeah,
god, that
yeah,
face. Like, but I can't say I'm not kind of interested in the Alien
yeah,
series. Like if it wasn't so much like into the horror stuff, I'd probably be willing to jump head first into it.
sure,
But I those movies seem to be like very well received
they
by
are.
a lot of them, and the new one, Romulus that you're mentioning,
Yeah,
is also seemed to be well received as well.
I mean that gave us Ripley, which is like, in my opinion, one of the best female protagonists of all time in
Yeah,
the original movies. So I would say like if you're interested, if you're gonna say that like, oh, they're scary, which I don't think they are, the first one would be the one that's like the most in quotations scary. 2 and 3 are just straight action movies. Like
gotcha.
first one is her trying to get away and like, oh my god, this alien. 2 and 3 is just like, okay, now I'm the action star and I'm just gonna kill a million aliens, that kind of stuff. So
Yeah,
and then the Predator movies are the same thing because it was Arnold,
yeah.
right? The first one was Arnold. So
Yep.
yeah, give it a shot. But this new one is absolutely incredible.
Good.
Incredible.
Good. I just want to say, like, we did get a bit more news about Avatar at 3 and 4, and how James Cameron is directing them unless he dies, is pretty much what he was
Yeah.
saying there. Uh, I rewatched Avatar 2. I gotta say, like, while it is a little bit of a longer movie, man, like I'm still in awe of how like pretty that movie is.
Yeah,
Sometimes the water is just insanely lifelike and incredible. So uh that's all I really had to say about Avatar 2. I'll be
I
honest.
have. Man, I don't know if I have a desire to ever watch that movie again.
I've been looking at some of my movies like as of late, and I'm like, oh, I should rewatch like Gladiator, for example.
Hmm.
I've been meaning to rewatch that next. So as after My Neighbor Totoro, and I still need to find time to go watch the horror that is Borderlands. It's a
No, you
whole
don't.
different type of horror. Uh, well, we'll have to see, but yeah, that's what I watched. Those are the very few opinions I have of them.
Fair.
Anything else you wanted to go over or talk about,
I don't think so.
Craig? Did you would you watch? Man, good on him.
He's sticking to it.
Yeah, he's sticking to it. The moment we end the podcast,
Yep.
guys, he's gonna move. I know he just wants to move so
Yep.
bad right now.
I don't know how he
Uh,
stayed still that long.
Neither do I, but maybe he could be asleep.
True.
We
Could
don't
be
know if
passed
we
out.
yeah. Maybe you go to sleep after staying still that long.
Maybe.
But I want to go ahead and thank everybody for listening to the podcast. We appreciate all the support you give us. If you are listening in a podcast platform, please make sure to like and review it on your platform of choice. And if you're watching on YouTube, please make sure to like and subscribe. Let us know, what you thought of the news, what we missed, what games you're playing, what games we should try. I'm always willing to. Craig's always on that Game Pass grind. He's always trying to find
Yeah.
the free games. What hidden gem am I missing? That's on Game
I mean,
Pass.
there was the oh my god, the one that Craig was playing and I played 2 weeks
Dungeons.
ago. Yeah,
Oh yeah,
that
I
would be a
have that.
good
I have
one.
that downloaded.
Okay.
I played through a little bit of it before I went back to P3R. So
I mean, you
I
could jump into the Crash Bandicoot series.
that is true. Crash Bandicoot it wasn't my childhood, but it definitely is one of those games where I could
Yep.
try that. See if it's
Classic game.
yeah, see if puzzling is for me. But puzzling is what's at the end of this podcast here. So enjoy the rest of your week, everyone. Oh yeah, that's right. This is my last podcast before I turn 30.
Hey,
Uh
enjoy your
well,
last
my,
podcast of
well,
young age.
yeah, this will be the most enthusiastic you guys ever get me at. After I turn 30, my enthusiasm and youthfulness will all disappear, and I'm gonna
Yep.
come with like a wrinkled face and stuff. Because
And
that's
gray hair.
yeah, that's what happens when you turn 30.
Yep.
Thank you guys for listening/watching. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.
See ya.